The Prohibition era and early 20th century legends. This era saw the rise of organized crime as a direct result of the nationwide ban on alcohol, leading to immense wealth and power for those who controlled its illegal distribution. But this time, these historic figures are brought back to life. My name's Loki, and this is the story of the most notorious gangsters in American history. Al Capone, known as Scarface, Al Capone was the undisputed boss of the Chicago outfit during the Prohibition era. He built a vast criminal empire based on bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution, infamous for his ruthlessness and involvement in the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Lucky Luciano Charles. Lucky Luciano is considered one of the fathers of modern organized crime in the United States. He was instrumental in establishing the Commission, a governing body for the mafia, and revolutionized the structure of the American underworld. Meyer Lansky, a brilliant financial mind, Meyer Lansky was known as the mob's accountant. He was a close associate of Lucky Luciano and played a key role in the development of the National Crime Syndicate, particularly in establishing gambling operations in Las Vegas and Cuba. Bugsy Siegel. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was a prominent Jewish-American mobster who became a driving force behind the development of Las Vegas. His violent temperament and vision for the Flamingo Hotel ultimately led to his assassination. Arnold Rothstein. Known as the Brain, Arnold Rothstein was a New York City mob kingpin and master manipulator who allegedly fixed the 1919 World Series. He transformed organized crime into a sophisticated business enterprise. Dutch Schultz Arthur Fligenheimer, or Dutch Schultz, was a notorious New York City gangster who amassed a fortune from bootlegging and racketeering during Prohibition. He was eventually targeted and killed by fellow mobsters. Frank Costello. Known as the Prime Minister of the Underworld, Frank Costello was a powerful and influential boss of the Genovese crime family. He maintained extensive political connections and preferred diplomacy over overt violence. Vito Genovese. Vito Genovese was a ruthless and ambitious mafia boss who rose to power through violence and intimidation, eventually leading the Genovese crime family. He was known for his cunning and betrayal of rivals. Joe Masseria Giuseppe, or known as Joe the Boss. Masseria was one of the most powerful mafia bosses in New York City during the Castellammarese War, a bloody conflict he waged against Salvatore Maranzano. Salvatore Maranzano was a powerful Sicilian mafia boss who sought to establish himself as boss of all bosses. After winning the Castellammarese War, he structured the American mafia into the Five Families system. Albert Anastasia, known as the Lord High Executioner, Albert Anastasia was a co-founder and leader of Murder, Inc., the enforcement arm of the mafia. He later became boss of the Gambino crime family, known for his extreme brutality. Louis Lepke Buchalter. Louis Buchalter was a notorious labor racketeer and one of the primary leaders of Murder, Inc. He was the only major mob boss to be executed by the state for murder. Waxy Gordon Irving Wexler, known as Waxy Gordon, was a prominent bootlegger and gangster in New York City, famous for his successful liquor operations during Prohibition. Oni Madden the Killer. Oni Madden was an Irish-American gangster who controlled significant bootlegging operations and speakeasies in New York City, including the famous Cotton Club. Dean O'Banion. An Irish-American gangster, Dean O'Banion led the North Side Gang in Chicago, a rival to Al Capone's South Side Italian gang. His assassination sparked intense gang warfare. Bugs Moran George. Bugs Moran was an Irish-American gangster who took over the North Side Gang after O'Banion's death and became a primary target of Al Capone, most notably in the St. Valentine's Day massacre. John Dillinger. John Dillinger was a notorious bank robber during the Great Depression, known for his charismatic personality and daring escapes. He became a public enemy number one to the FBI. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Bonnie and Clyde were an infamous outlaw couple who traveled the central United States during the Great Depression, committing a string of robberies, kidnappings, and murders. Pretty Boy Floyd Charles. Pretty Boy Floyd was a bank robber and alleged murderer during the Depression era. He gained a reputation for destroying mortgage documents during bank robberies, which endeared him to some struggling Americans. Babyface Nelson. Lester Joseph Gillis, better known as Babyface Nelson, was a ruthless bank robber and associate of John Dillinger, known for his short stature and quick temper. Machine Gun Kelly. George Machine Gun Kelly was a prominent gangster and kidnapper during the Prohibition and early Depression eras, infamous for his use of a Thompson submachine gun. Ma Barker. Arizona Donnie Barker, or Ma Barker, was the matriarch of the infamous Barker Karpis gang, which committed a series of robberies and kidnappings in the 1930s. Alvin Creepy Karpis. Alvin Karpis was a leading member of the Barker Karpis gang and the only public enemy number one to be captured personally by J. Edgar Hoover. Arthur Doc Barker, a son of Ma Barker and member of the Barker Carpus gang, Arthur Barker was known for his involvement in violent crimes and daring escapes. Frank Nash. Frank Nash was a bank robber and escape artist. His attempted liberation in the Kansas City Massacre led to the deaths of several law enforcement officers. Carlo Gambino. Carlo Gambino was a powerful and cunning boss of the Gambino crime family who ruled with a quiet but firm hand for decades. He was known for his low profile and avoidance of media attention. John Gotti. Known as the Teflon Don for his ability to evade conviction, John Gotti was a flamboyant and media-savvy boss of the Gambino crime family. He was eventually convicted through the testimony of his underboss. Sam Giancana was a prominent boss of the Chicago outfit and was rumored to have connections with the CIA and political figures. He was known for his aggressive and violent leadership. Tony Accardo. Also known as Joe Batters, Tony Accardo was a long-reigning boss of the Chicago outfit, known for his longevity and ability to adapt to changing times while maintaining power. Joe Colombo. Joseph Colombo was the boss of the Colombo crime family and founded the Italian-American Civil Rights League, a controversial organization that sought to protest against the FBI's targeting of Italian Americans. Paul Castellano. Paul Castellano was the boss of the Gambino crime family, known for his business-like approach to crime. His assassination by John Gotti marked a significant shift in mob leadership. Vincent the Chin Gigante. Vincent Gigante was the boss of the Genovese crime family, famously feigning mental illness for years to avoid prosecution, earning him the nickname the Odd Father. Henry Hill was an associate of the Lucchese crime family whose life as a mob informant was immortalized in the book Wise Guy and the film Goodfellas. Jimmy Burke. James Burke was an Irish-American gangster and associate of the Lucchese crime family, known for his ruthless nature and his alleged involvement in the Lufthansa heist. Frank Sheeran. The Irishman Sheeran was a hitman and labor union official with alleged ties to the Bufalino crime family and famously claimed to have killed Jimmy Hoffa. Russell Bufalino was a powerful and influential boss of the Bufalino crime family in northeastern Pennsylvania, known for his quiet demeanor and extensive connections. Santo Trafficante Jr. was a prominent mafia boss in Tampa, Florida, with alleged connections to the CIA's plots to assassinate Fidel Castro. Carlos Marcello. Carlos Marcello was the longtime boss of the New Orleans crime family, a powerful figure in the southern United States with extensive political influence. Mickey Cohen. Mickey Cohen was a Los Angeles-based mobster known for his flamboyant lifestyle and connections to Hollywood figures. He was a protege of Bugsy Siegel. Whitey Bulger. James Whitey Bulger was a notorious Irish-American mob boss who led the Winter Hill Gang in Boston. He was also a longtime FBI informant, a fact that later caused a major scandal. Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas was an American drug trafficker who operated in Harlem during the late 1960s and early 1970s, famously importing heroin directly from Southeast Asia. Nicky Barnes. Leroy Nicky Barnes was an American drug lord who led the Council, a sophisticated African-American crime syndicate that dominated the heroin trade in Harlem. Joe Gallo. Joseph Crazy Joe Gallo was a renegade capo in the Colombo crime family, known for his rebellious nature and involvement in internal mafia conflicts. Angelo Bruno, known as the Gentle Don, was the boss of the Philadelphia crime family, known for his preference for peaceful resolutions and aversion to drug trafficking. Raymond Patriarca. Raymond Patriarca was the longtime boss of the Patriarca crime family in New England, known for his strict rule and involvement in various rackets. Bernie Madoff. Bernard Bernie Madoff was an American financier who orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in history, defrauding thousands of investors out of billions of dollars. Willie Moretti was a powerful and well-known Italian-American mobster who served as a top capo in the Genovese crime family, largely controlling illegal gambling and other rackets in New Jersey. He gained public notoriety for his flamboyant personality and often candid interactions with the media and celebrities. Johnny Torrio. Known as the Fox, Johnny Torrio was a highly influential Italian-American mobster who mentored Al Capone and built the Chicago outfit into a powerful force. He was a strategic thinker who preferred negotiation over violence, establishing the framework for modern organized crime in Chicago before retiring and passing control to Capone. Joe Bonanno. Joseph Joe Bananas Bonanno was the longtime boss of the Bonanno crime family, one of the original 5 families of the New York Mafia. Known for his cunning and secretive nature, he maintained a low profile for decades and was unique among mob bosses for his attempt to retire and avoid major prosecutions. Thank you all for watching, very much appreciated. These videos takes me quite a while to make and research, so if you love this video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. With that being said, my name is Loki, and this is History.